Today's episode is brought to you by Canva. Canva Pro is an online graphic design app that makes content creation easy for everyone. And it helps out the show. To start your 30-day free trial, head over to canva.blueboxdigital.com. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Think Outside the Blue Box. I'm Anthony Rivera. I'm the lead videographer and editor here at BlueBox Digital, and welcome to the podcast. This is a podcast about creative journeys, the hustlers, the entrepreneurs, the people that are out there following their dreams in hopes to inspire you to follow yours. And today I am joined by a national recording artist, battle rapper, ranked number 9 in the world. Mm-hmm. In the world,
technically the universe.
The
universe.
We
really don't know who's out there,
right?
So I gotta.
There's some battle stars out there that you don't know.
Thanks.
Welcome to the show,
man.
Welcome to the show, Loso.
Appreciate you for having me, man. I'm excited, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for reaching out. I know you said you saw a few of my other guests on here, and that kind of inspired you to reach out.
Yes, sir.
Who was it?
Truth, my cousin Truth, my boy Push Supreme. So I know that they both doing stuff out in Tampa. So I try to keep tabs on like different Tampa artists that are kind of making moves, and so. I just saw, I love the setup, love the interview and stuff. I was like, all right, let's do one, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And like I said, I started this podcast to network, and that's basically what it's turned into.
Yeah. That intro was a little teared journey, bro. Yeah. It's like, it's emotional.
We got to inspire people, man. We got to... I always say I wish that I had something like this when I was starting out in video. Just somebody creative, just saying, "Hey, look, I've done it. Now you can do it too." Yeah,
that's good.
That kind of thing. Yeah. So where are you from originally, man? You look Hispanic.
Yeah, I know. Right? I don't know what it is, man. It's just a tan. But so I'm Colombian and Puerto Rican.
Okay. Boricua.
Yep. So mom's Puerto Rican, dad's Colombian. But I was born in Queens, New York, which I think is like the story of every Puerto Rican.
New Yorican.
Yeah, in New York, and then you find your way. You just wake up and you're in Tampa one day. And so we moved to Tampa when I was like 10 years old, and so that's why I kind of just rep Tampa. I don't really rep anything else because this is where I went to middle school and high school at. This is where, I had my first girlfriend, my first fight, everything just kind of made me
all the
who,
milestones.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, your first kiss, this is where you're from, bro. And so, so Tampa, Florida, been here since then. Obviously I travel pretty frequently, but this is home, bro. Everybody always asks me like, yo, would you go live anywhere else? I'm like, nah, maybe San Diego. But other than that, it's Tampa forever.
San Diego's a little expensive too, man.
Yeah.
It's getting a little up there. It's more, I guess, closer to Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. It's
beautiful,
a lot
man.
of money out there.
Yeah, so I never looked at how much, and I don't want to. So I'm just gonna keep in my mind like that is an option if I want, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll just stick with Tampa, man.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show, dude. What got you into music? What was it?
Man, so obviously, growing up, for me, I kind of want to say like it was just all around me. I want to say maybe the most important point of my life, and unfortunately, it was also the most disheartening point of my life. When my father, when I was 12, ended up getting the news that my father was murdered. And so for me, I remember thinking to myself like, man, okay, I need to like grab a hold of something. Cause like my world is kind of like, shaking up. And so, I needed to figure out what it meant to like be a man. Cause I was the oldest in my household, right? It was my mom, but then, I had younger siblings and stuff like that. So, hip hop was kind of an outlet for me. And so, looking around, they were the ones kind of communicating, whether good or bad, that's a conversation for somebody else, but it was teaching you like, all right, this is what it means to be a man. This is what it means for, masculinity or kind of how to step up and stuff. And so, music was that outlet for me. And so at a young age, I remember finding myself kind of like, just hearing music and just writing it down. Like, this is before, obviously you can just like Google up every lyric that was out there. Maybe you could, but for me, I was just writing it down. I would just practice it. So if like if Jay-Z was saying something, I would literally just write down everything was saying, and then I would rap it with him too. And so I didn't know at that time, but it was already kind of like installing in me like this craft of like learning how to deliver raps and when to pause and breath control and stuff. Even though I was doing it subconsciously, it was kind of already putting those tools in me. But not until I was honestly, and in high school, you kind of mess around. Everybody, I just feel like always just raps at the lunch table and stuff. But after high school, I actually started volunteering at this juvenile detention center and just helping inner city kids. And there were some kids who were doing like an open mic, and they wanted me to just write something. And so I did. I just wrote something that day, and
just off the cuff.
I just wrote something that I was just going through. And what was crazy is that there was a producer who was just in the building that day when we were just doing that. I had no clue who he was. And he comes up to me afterwards. He says, "Hey, I want you to come over. I have a studio at the house. I just want to show you around." I was like, "All right, cool." I didn't think nothing of it. I just wrote a verse. Go into his room. He had a dope setup. And he just put on a beat. He was like, "I just want you to write." I was like, to this beat, like right now? He's like, yeah. And
see what you come up with.
Yeah. So I started doing it. He would lock the door and he would just play beats after beats, and I would write. He would have me write like 3-4 verses a day. And then it got to a point where I just found myself writing a verse. So if I came over, he was like, "You should have your verse already memorized by the time you come over if we're recording." And so I would just be recording. And so, obviously my delivery needed to be worked on and certain things, but I was like heavy in the punchline. I was a big Fabulous fan. And so my style of writing kind of mimicked that. And so, but I also had friends around me who were also rappers, and they were already creating music. But for me, that was the first time. And so, that was my introduction to it. And then afterwards, it started getting to a place of like competitions and stuff. And then that's where everything kind of changed.
Wow. Well, what got you into the competition?
Man, so I was actually doing, there was like a spoken word event that I was invited to, and I did one. And people were raving, and so I was already a battle rap fan in high school. And then coming out of high school, I was introduced to battle rap. So I would go on YouTube and I would watch the Smack battles and Murder Mook and Loaded Lux. And I was like, yo, like the way that these,
when MTV used to do the battle
man,
raps?
it wasn't, nah, this is afterwards. This is just YouTube at this point for me. Yeah. And so, I got on it late, but by the time I'm watching it, like I already loved hip hop, but this was like so raw. I was like, yo, this is hip hop at its purest form. Like, this is no beat. This is just straight lyricism. Two dudes meeting up and they're just seeing who's better. And so the competition aspect of it kind of just, excited me and it intrigued me. So I'm watching it. I'm literally like, 15, 16, 17 years old, staying on YouTube all night watching it. And so when I started doing spoken word, I wasn't like a real poet. Like all the other poetry guys, they sounded real poetic. But for me, my style when I was doing acapellas, the only thing I knew was in a battle rap format. So I would be communicating truths that I would be living by, or I would be communicating about topics, whether we're talking about, mass shootings or whatever it is. Whatever topic I was on, I was basically rapping it in a battle rap format, and everybody sitting in the room was like, yo, this is dope. This isn't like poetry, but what is this? You know what I'm saying? The way he's kind of like his mannerisms, his delivery, and when he takes it up, when he brings it down, the punchlines, all these different things. And so I started, at that point, people started telling me, it's like, yo, you should try battle rap. And I was like, nah, there's just no way I would be able to do what they do. What they do is just totally different. Well, I end up seeing a small competition invite. It was out in Chicago. It was at this conference that people were doing. It's called the Legacy Conference. And there was a rap competition in it. And so you submit basically just a freestyle and like the top 10 submissions. And they had hundreds and hundreds of submissions. Top 10, they get invited to Chicago. So I just submit something, and lo and behold, I get hit up, and it was like, yo, you're one of the finalists. Nice. Come out to Chicago, all the stuff you're going to compete. This is out of hundreds of submissions. I'm like, all right, bet. And so I'm in it. I've never done anything like this. I've never done any competition. And in my head, this is the closest I'll ever get to like something like a battle rap.
Yeah.
Well, there's a popular, he used to do 106 in Park and super popular. His name is Jin. He's like an Asian, legend freestyle, but obviously he was in the culture. And he was one of the judges that day. And so I go up there and I'm thinking like, all right, you know what? I just want to show my skill set. Not really thinking too much of it. Long story short, I end up winning the whole thing.
You blew everybody away.
And I'm winning the whole thing. And right before it, I mean, we're in the green room and they're setting up the brackets and stuff. And everybody's like talking trash, bro. I'm in the bathroom, like literally about to throw up, bro. I'm I'm looking at the crowd. I'm like, yo, it's like hundreds and hundreds of people out there. So for me, winning that, I was like, yo, what just happened right now? Well, he comes up to me. Bro. Jin comes up to me and he says, you need a battle rap. he says, I don't tell this to everybody, he says, but you need to go in there. And so that was like 2014. And so I was like, all right. So the next year, I just put up a post on Facebook and I said, yo, are there any battle leagues in Tampa? And the guy who was running a battle league in Tampa, he was tagged in the post and he said, hey, usually I ask for people to have footage, but if you don't have any footage, if you could just send me some stuff of you just rapping, I'm having a tryout card and I'll put you on that tryout card with all the new guys and stuff. And I said, okay. So I sent them some footage and of me just rapping. And within 5 minutes, he wrote me back. He said, where the hell have you been? And he was just like taken back. And so he put me on that card. I remember I brought out like a bunch of people to it. So he even saw that. Wow. And my first battle, it was just a bucket list thing for me. It wasn't for me to go in there and
like, this is what I'm going to do
and take over the court. It was just to see if I could do it. But the first battle has such a, sorry about that. The first battle has such a ripple effect that afterwards I couldn't stop if I wanted to. Like people were just like, yo, we have to see you again. And at that league that I was on, the people who were battling, they were doing an average of like, I want to say maybe like 1,000 views on a battle, maybe 2,000 if they were lucky. My first battle did 32,000 views, bro.
Get out of here,
and
dude.
So people were just gravitating. It was like, yo, who's this kid who just came out of nowhere? So
it's very niche too.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and so, when I was up there, they were just like, yo, we've never seen something like this over here. And so the next step for me was, I was like, all right, I want to do something. I want to kind of like, so I started calling out all of the big guys in Tampa. None of them wanted to battle me. It was like, nah, you got to put in more work. You got to do this. And I was like,
you got to prove yourself.
I was like, yeah, but I just did more views than you ever did. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my mentality. I'm just like, you guys might as well battle me now. But they didn't want to. So I heard about this tournament in Atlanta. And you had to pay $100 to enter it. So right after it, I said, okay, cool. I said, I paid my money and I drove up there to Atlanta by myself and knew no one in there. But there were some battlers who had already been battling for a minute. And man, I win it again, bro. 26 battlers in that tournament. Damn. And I win the whole thing. And I get a spot on that league. One of the biggest battle rappers in the world, his name is John Adon. He was the one who was putting on that tournament. He basically, he came up to me and he was like, this is what I've been looking for. He said somebody that nobody knew so I could go ahead. And so at that moment, as soon as I win that one, this is only a couple of months of me into the career, the biggest league in the world, URL, Smack, they contact me and they want me to sign with them. But I was like, man, should I go ahead and sign at this moment? And that's every battler's dream. That's like the NBA. But John pulled me aside. He said, look, slow down. He said, just give me a year. Give me a year, and I promise I'll make you a household name. And
he's gonna kind of mold you and shape you.
And that's exactly what happened, man.
Nice.
I didn't sign the contract with URL at the time, and I gave him a year, and within a year, I'm in everybody's conversations and stuff. And just like the couple of stories that I just finished telling you right there, those stories were reciprocating in every battle that was happening. It was like something unique kept happening every time. One time I was on Lifetime, and I was like, how the heck did I just end up on Lifetime? You know what I'm saying? So like different things. Yeah, exactly. Out of all the show and battle rap on Lifetime, and so, but it was just. It was just a testimony for me. It's like, man, like when God wants you to do something and he's calling you to do something, this for me, I was like, it was just confirmation. And so
you can't ignore it.
Yeah. And so, obviously in between then, I'm still trying to, I was doing music and I was also a teacher. I was an English teacher and a history teacher at the same time. So like they had seen this dynamic of this guy like, yo, what in the world? You know what I'm saying? Like he's doing all these different things and then he's still coming here and then battling at the top of the level. So it's 2022 now. I've been able to rank as one of the top battlers for 4 years. Really 5 years, probably every year that I've been battling, but traveled all over the country. And then through that, I always start with battle rap because even though, I love making music and I love doing spoken word and I love doing, if I'm speaking at certain conferences or something like that, those opportunities only get there because of who I am in battling. You know what I'm saying? So like if I go down the street, I mean, people know and people stop me for a picture or something. It's because of battle rap.
Because of that.
I'm standing outside of somebody's house practicing the other day, and the FedEx man comes by and he's like, "Yo, you're Loso?" And it was like, yeah. And so that I already know that's how they know me. Nice. And so, but you know, I try to make sure that once they get invited, or once they start watching me because of battle rap, I try to make sure that I bring them into my world of everything else that I do. Yeah. And so, you know, podcasting or music or speaking, I want to make sure that they know, like, hey, I'm just not this, and I don't want to just be this either. I want to kind of like, you know, obviously put my different hats on, and even been doing a little acting lately as well too. So nice. Just want to be, you know,
versatile.
Want to look back, you know, years from now and be like, you know what? I'm tired as hell right now, but it's because I did it all right there.
So, yeah. So at the core, man, what would you say you are? You're a wordsmith, you're a poet.
Man, yeah. Man, you know what? This is gonna sound like super, maybe corny, but I just feel like I'm a teacher, and I want to make sure that like whatever I'm communicating, is something that people can go ahead and like. And take and say like, yo, basically what you said earlier in your intro, like, yo, we've done it, or we're doing it, and you even wish that you had somebody before you, right? So like, there's not a blueprint for a guy like me. I'm not a blueprint for a guy who's like, yo, you know what? I'm coming in here. I'm not gonna be talking about the things that you guys are talking about. I'm not like, it's not like in my music or my raps you're hearing me glorify about guns or anything like that. This is a guy who like truly loves the art, truly loves the people in this culture too, wants to impact it. And I'm learning as I'm going. Have I made mistakes? Yeah, I've definitely made mistakes. But at the same time though,
that's part of it.
Yep. That's a part of, you know what I'm saying? That's me obviously growing. And so, but at the end of the day, I want them to kind of pull from is like, yo, he left it all, you know, whatever he did, like he did everything he set his mind to. And when he did it, he didn't half-ass it either. You know what I'm saying? So
nice. So all your battle raps, are they, what kind of topics do you cover?
Man, so I mean, but
pretty much anything.
Well, the battles are like, you know, for instance, let's say they were like, URL came to me and they had a contract. Hey, yo, we got this kid named Anthony. He's out in Lutz. Dope battler. This is what he's been doing. Yada yada. We want you to go ahead and battle him on, you know, June 28th. And so it's like boxing. You know what I'm saying? So for the next couple of weeks, if I agree to it and we agree on our price and stuff, and the event and everything, time and place, I'm now saying to myself, okay, what do I want to go ahead and commute? So I'll watch your battles and I'll listen to what you said in your previous battles. And now so other guys, research. Yeah, other guys. Now I don't do research like this. Let me go ahead and look online, like any scandal he's been in. If it's public stuff, like I probably would mention it. But I know that there's some guys out there like they'll bring up dirt. And I've battled guys where like I've had like their baby mamas hit me up. It's like, yo, let me tell you about him. He doesn't pay his bills. Yeah, I'm just like, yo, I'm not
trying to give you material.
Yeah, I'm not about to use any of that. First of all, I'm not on your side. You know, say, yeah, I'm battling this guy, but you know, if you're doing this like, right this now, is what we do. Yeah, he probably should have left you. But but for me, you know, when I go up there, I'm like an angle-based battler. So I try to have there is a point of me battling you. There is a topic that I do want the viewers to kind of leave with. And so sometimes it's more difficult than others with certain battlers because, you know, some are just not interested. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just not interested at all. So like I'm over here struggling to find something to say to you. But for the most part, I want to get two themes come across, right? Education. I want to educate you and I want to entertain you. And if I can merge those two, it'd be perfect. Sometimes, you know, people educate you in their raps and it's just like, yo, this is boring. I don't want to hear this. Just throw a beat on or just rap about anything. Some people are entertaining you and you're just like, yeah, that's good, but it's kind of shallow. It doesn't like,
there's no substance,
no replay value either, right? I want to merge those two. I want to merge those two worlds. And if I can do that, then that's when I know at the end of the day, I've written something good. So.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So you also write music, like actual music?
Yep. Yeah. Write music, and so I actually just dropped a single 2 days ago called Apologies, and so I try to make sure that because battle rap takes so much of my time, I try to make sure that I'm dropping a single at least like, you know, every 2 quarters maybe, but I try to drop one big single a year, and so my big single will probably be coming in August. I'll fly to Colombia to shoot this music video. Already got the song done and everything. So I'm excited for that. Last year I did one. Actually, it was about my father. Went to Colombia as well. And it's called Till I'm Home. The music video's out. Song did great. And that's probably my best song that, you know, I've just been a part of. And so I was really, really happy about that.
Lost and traveling down this lonely road. All of their highs and lows. I know
But yeah, so yeah, I try to do, I perform a lot, do a bunch of concerts. I got another concert coming up in Virginia soon. And like I said, those bookings and everything are available to me because of how popular I am in battle rap. You know what I'm saying? Like that opens, and so I'm never oblivious to it. It's not like I don't walk around. Yeah, I don't walk around like, and there's some battle rappers like, don't call me a battle rapper, I'm an artist. And I'm like, let's be honest, like that's what you're known for. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like I don't shy away from it, and I'm not like maybe 10 years ago, it was a diss to call you just a battle rapper, right? Like, but nowadays, like, there's battle rappers who make money for an event that certain artists don't make for 3-4 shows on their tour, and so it's just a different Drake,
a different art form,
bro.
Yeah.
We're having Drake host our battles, or Chris Brown inviting us to the house, and I'm getting into football games for free because of certain athletes that are big fans, or basketball games, and so or Joe Budden recapping our stuff on his podcast. Like, I don't get noticed by those guys if I'm just making music in Tampa. I just don't.
Yeah.
And so for me to,
you got to do something.
You know what I'm saying? Something that has you stand out. And so when I'm in certain places, because everybody's a rapper. You do these podcasts, everyone is a rapper. But how many battle rappers, like at the top of their game, at the top of the game, do you get to interview? And you could say, now when with somebody's Loso, you're like, yeah, I interviewed him, bro, and here's it is, and it stands out because this is something different. Yeah. At the same time, we all love music. I want to do it, but I don't shy away from it, and I'm not oblivious to how people know me. So
yeah, and you're still doing it, right? Like,
exactly.
You're still doing battle. Mm-hmm. Where do you typically? Is there like a regular spot?
Man, so you know what? So at one point it was New York, because that's just like the mecca battle rap. But Smack has gotten so big that we tour now, and so we go to city to city. So during the 2020 when COVID hit, in 2021 we were primarily in LA, which was weird because that was like the COVID capital. But we were in LA because we had teamed
trying
up
to get away from there, and you're like, let's go in.
But we created a bubble similar to what the NBA did. And so, obviously,
bubble.
Yeah, exactly. So we were testing, and you had to obviously test negative, and then you would be able to battle at these comments. So, but no fans were allowed.
Because you're gonna be on stage, you're gonna be like face to face with this person.
Yep. Yeah. And so, so we were able to create content at that time because we had teamed up with a streaming company called Caffeine, and they were airing all of our stuff, and so it was a good deal. Now, we're still back to back, and so that's Smack URL, which is the NBA, but there's hundreds and hundreds of leagues all around the country. So I'll get hit up daily from some leagues, and they'll be like, hey, we want you to go ahead and battle in Indiana, we want you to battle this guy, and sometimes I'll look at my schedule and be like, you know what, I got some time, I'll go over there and I'll battle this guy.
But something, yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But the big ones though are with Smack, or even in Atlanta, the first John Don, his league, Bullpen Battle League, whenever he calls me, obviously, I'm forever indebted to them. So I'm like, let's do it, bro. Say no more. So we're in Atlanta, and I'm his biggest star that he's ever had out of that league. So anytime I could go back and just reciprocate the love, I just do that. Yeah. So and I just did. So I don't battle in Tampa often because the situations don't always call for me to kind of like pop out. I mean, I do support them, but it's not like if I put my name on something, if I'm battling something, I need to make sure like everything is lining up. And so I actually just did one though in Tampa for the first time in like years. Yeah. And so, but it went great, bro. We packed out the building. It was another guy. He's a Tampa guy. His name's Craig Lamar. Really good battle. That battle just dropped on YouTube. And so, I'll probably do another one in Tampa. Maybe like, I know they, right now there's other Tampa leagues hitting me up, but I'm like, let's just slow it. The people just saw me. Let's let them wait. So probably do it in a year. So.
Oh, that's cool. Now, when you battle, is it mostly freestyle, or do you actually bring in some?
Nah, you bring it. Yeah. So it's weird, right? Whenever I tell somebody, and it's super awkward because I do this full time. So if I'm at the gym, or if I'm at a restaurant, and I just meet this, older person. It's like, hey, what do you do for a living? You live in South Tampa, so like, what do you do? And I'm just like, all right, I'm a battle rapper. And they're like, what? And so, it's kind of difficult to explain. Sometimes it's just like 8 Mile, and you're like, no, it's not like 8 Mile. Nah. What's really terrible though is that now they're like Hamilton, and you like, what? You're like, first of all, what correlation? When do you watch Hamilton? It's like, yo, this battle's like going crazy. But that's just.
It's just like yelling the words.
Unfortunately, that's just what it is, right? And so, but yeah. So when I communicate that to them, I try to let them know, like, look, it's. And I said this earlier, it's kind of like boxing, right? It's a contract, and so there is preparation. Are there improv elements to it? Yes. Is there freestyle? So for instance, if you're saying something to me during the battle that I feel like I need to address, yeah, I'll go ahead and start thinking about it. There's other guys who are better than others that are like, yo, you know what? They could freestyle a lot of material. But for the most part, everybody goes in there with three rounds. Each round is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Roughly estimate. Sometimes you battle for less, or sometimes you battle more time, but 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you're writing your rounds, and then you're delivering it, you're performing it. It's like a performance. The problem is that you have to make sure that you get this performance done right the first time. This isn't like you can go ahead and forget a word on a song, right? Yeah. Like if you're performing, you could do this concert today, and then you're going to go to Kentucky, you're going to do the same song, the same set. I'm only getting paid once for this material. I'm only like, this material's forever on YouTube. And so when
one-time deal.
You know what I'm saying? So like whatever happens at this take is what the world is going to see.
That's it.
And so that's the pressure. But that's why I tell people all the time, man, like, to me, battle rappers are the best rappers in the world. Like as far as like everything that goes into it, and
it's
like
an art form, man.
Yeah, and really like the level, the level that you have to be at to kind of perform one take in front of all these people. Then your opponent's in front of you heckling you. Then then he has his whole entourage behind him looking at you, and then you're like, all right, you know, I got to just make sure that everything is perfect, and so. You know, it'll take me, it depends, you know what I'm saying? Like when I first started, I felt like I needed like at least like a month of preparation. But now, bro, I'll be honest. Yeah. Now, bro, I'll be honest, man. I'll be lucky if I even get that. I just wrote this last battle I just did. I'm over here writing like so if I battle Saturday, on Wednesday, I didn't have any material, bro. And so I'm writing it.
Oh my God.
Then on the plane, then I'm flying, because I had to go to Houston for an event. I had to do a spoken word event in Houston. On Friday, I'm playing in this celebrity basketball game in Atlanta. Then I fly to Tampa Saturday morning, and I'm memorizing my material while I'm on the plane. And so, so now I'm just like, all right, I just need at least a week. If I get a week, I'm like, all right, you know, that'll be good. So I don't like that type of pressure, but unfortunately, I think what has ended up happening with me is like I'm battling so frequent that the pressure for me is what kind of like inspires me and motivates me to write. Because if you told me I don't battle in like 2 months, but I know my opponent, the best thing to do would be to go ahead and get started on it, right? So you're not panicking at the end of the day. But bro, there's nothing like that's like really pushing me. I don't feel the weight of that moment yet. And so I may try to come up with some ideas. I may sit down, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go play basketball now. I'm gonna go watch this game. I'm gonna go hang out with my boys. I'm gonna go out, whatever I'm gonna do. And then lo and behold, it's like a week left, and I'm like, oh snap! And now when that week is left, I'm like feeling the pressure, and so I'm sitting. Then I start losing sleep. Then I start like I'm not eating. I'm like I'm literally like suffering. And then after that, when I'm done writing, now it's just repetition. It's just memorizing. You're memorizing. You're rapping it to your friends, trying to practice, getting ready for that moment, envisioning that moment, and you know, just trying to be the best you could be. So,
wow, yeah, that's cool. That's a good process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of go through the same thing with the music videos.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same process where you kind of get it in your head a little bit. You do the research, you do the you know, all the cuts and everything. So it's kind of the same.
Then you don't edit until like the day you need to get it to you guys. You're like, oh man, all right, I'll get it to you, bro. I've been working on it.
But you know what, man? I do some of my best work when I'm under pressure.
That's good.
It forces me to be creative.
Yeah, exactly.
Gets those juices flowing, man. Because when I have, like you said, when you have enough, like a ton of time, it's like, I'll just go play basketball.
Exactly, exactly. You'll find something else to do.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I get distracted so easily.
Oh, I'm the worst.
But if it's like deadlines coming up in like 2 days and I gotta get this shit done, I'll sit down. Yeah,
exactly.
I won't even sleep, man. I'll go through the night and
same.
It'll turn out fire.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's cool, man. Have you won any awards?
Yeah, man. So won best round last year. And so they do at these end of the year awards. I was ranked, like I said, number 9, but I've been ranked 12, 11, 9. And, you know, obviously all those are kind of debatable in my head because I'm like, I should probably been higher. But out of 26,000 battlers in the world, you're like, man. Yo, to be mentioned among that.
In the single digits.
Yep. There was an award ceremony in 2018 where they gave me Lyricist of the Year. And then there's a conference that's done it. So it's for the Latin community. So for myself, one thing too, I try to make sure that I'm representing is I know that there's a lot of like Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and Colombian fans that are like, yo, you know what? We love hip hop, but we don't really see too much representation of a Latino artist that's like killing it in this lane. And so for me, I don't shy away from that. In the beginning, I wish I would have like really embraced it a lot more, but I just wasn't thinking of it that way. But not until later on. 2 things actually. Really, my city, Tampa. It wasn't until one day I got stopped in West Shore Mall, and they were like, "Yo, Loso, man, thank you for putting on for Tampa." And I was just like, I bet. And I never thought about it that way because we didn't have any, like the city doesn't have any representation in that circle. And so for me, I was like, you know what? I bet. And so I was like more intentional with what I wear. I was like, yo, if I could wear a Lightning jersey, I'll wear one. If I could wear a Rays hat, like I just want people to know, like whenever they say Loso, it's synonymous with Tampa. And so we could bring.
I did see that, the Lightning vest that you had.
Yep. And so that's what I wore the last time. Yeah. And a shout out to Uploading My Life. It's a Instagram account. He actually he custom made it for me, bro.
He made the vest.
He hit me up. He was a fan, and he told me, he said, yo, I got this for you. And so I said, all right.
Hell
say no more, man. So I try to be very, very intentional with that. But then also I said with the Latino community too, it's like really difficult for us in general to kind of break through doors. And so whenever I'm out there, I try to make it known like, hey, you know, I'm Puerto Rican, Colombian, and it's not just me, but we have some other ones too that are really, really talented as well. And so as I'm creating my art, I try to slip some stuff in there. You know, I did a 2-on-2 battle not too long ago, and I made sure that, you know, I did a little segment where I was rapping in Spanish or, you know, shouting it out,
that's cool.
Or whatever it is. And so, you know, doing music videos in Colombia, I try to make sure that people just know that. And so, yeah, man. So, you know,
Tampa's a place to be, dude.
That is. So, you know, I'm proud of it. Like I said, I know they were doing some, and there was this podcast and they asked Tom G, they were like, hey, who do you think is the Mount Rushmore? Who'd you put Mount Rushmore in Tampa? And obviously he was naming some artists, but one of the podcast guys, he was like, if that's music, but if we're just talking about impact out of the city, you got to mention Loso. Like, I mean, because we can drop all of you guys in the middle of Times Square and people are going to know him before they're going to know you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so I was like, man, that's love. You know what I'm saying? Just even thinking about it that way. And so, but, you know, regardless, like whoever gets love out of the city, that's kind of where I just want to, you know, I just want to point people to anyway, bro. I'm happy for that.
Oh, that's cool, man. So what's next for you, dude?
Man,
what's
still
coming up?
Yeah, still creating. Like I said, bro. You know, I've gotten a chance to do some acting out in LA with some writers out there. And
anything big? Anything?
Man, you know what? There's something that's in the works right now.
You can't talk about it.
I can't. Which I feel like it's a cop out because like the people watching will be like, of course you can't.
Sure.
Yeah. So then that kind of like pushes me right now to say something just to kind of like let them know. But it is though, you know what I'm saying? And so we'll see if you know I make the final cut for it or whatnot. But did some, you know, some webisodes that people did on YouTube and stuff like that. Shout out to actually the Gray Area and Last Second C. That's the production company out there. You know, they always contacted me to work with them. But you know, some big battle announcements coming through. Like I said, I just dropped a single. Going on tour in the fall in September and October. I'm actually going to be doing 10 weeks. So I'll be performing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in a different city for 10 weeks. But this is actually a spoken word tour. Nice. And it's called Poets in Autumn. And it's a big spoken word. It's probably like the biggest spoken word tour. And you know, if you're not familiar with that genre, or if you're not really a big poetry fan, you probably wouldn't know. But if you just Google it, I mean, they're huge. And so some of the poets that have been doing the tour, they're actually moving on to different things. And so they actually contacted me to be one of the poets on the tour this year. We actually did our first pop-up shop. We did like a little trial run, a run through out in Boston. And it went amazing, bro. I did a piece on gossip actually, and I mean they loved it. They went crazy. They were like, "Yo, that's the one. That's the one we're waiting to see." And so, I'll be writing some other ones while the date gets closer. Probably like a week before I get on tour, I'll start writing, which will suck. But but for the most part, I'm looking forward to that. And so, usually I battle like 10 times a year, but this year I've only done like 2 battles. And so I'll probably try to pick up at least like maybe 2 more before the fall. But because I've been doing so many more concerts and speaking engagements and tours this year, I know at the end of the year I won't be battling as much as I usually do, which is good though, because I got my hand in other things. And so, man,
gotta let your mind rest a little bit
yes,
too,
sir.
man.
Exactly.
You gotta stay creative, do other things.
Exactly. That's good, man.
Yeah. Well, what's the hardest thing that you found for people that are trying to do what you do, man? Like what's the hardest thing that you found to overcome? And
man, I would say when I got into battle rap, unlike music, right? You put out music and whoever enjoys it is gonna, unless you're a huge artist, but if you're at a regular normal level, when you put out art, people are just gonna embrace it, whoever's around you. For the most part, it's yes men, right? It's yes fans. Like they're just like, oh yeah, that's dope. We like it. We're gonna click like. We're gonna share it. It is what it is. Battle rap is not like that, bro. You're on there and you gotta understand you're competing, and so you're competing against another guy who has a fan base as well. And so
every word is gonna be scrutinized.
You're gonna be opening up your. I open up my Twitter. I open up my DMs. I open up my Instagram, bro. Whatever it is, and it's just like hate. But then, but no, don't get me wrong. The love is so much more.
Yeah.
But you know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
I could put out a battle and I could get hundreds of comments of like, Loso, you're the best. You're the greatest of all time. Man, your bar, when you said this is amazing. Bro, you won this battle 3-0. But then that one comment is like, yo, you suck. And that one just sticks out more. So to answer your question, the toughest thing for me has been to not allow criticism to get to my heart and not allow praise to get to my head. I don't want to think that I'm better than what I am. I don't ever want to get complacent, right? And when I start seeing all those compliments, easily, you know what I'm saying? I start feeling myself. I start thinking I've arrived. I could kind of lay back. Then on the opposite, when we swing the pendulum the other way, the opposite is true. It's like, yo, people are saying like you suck and we don't rock with you and you're this and you're trash. You need to leave this sport. Don't let that get to your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, bro, whenever you're doing something at a high level, you're going to get hate. I mean, bro, there's people to this day who think LeBron James sucks. You're just like, what?
That's
you know what I'm saying?
game,
like,
man.
that's just what it is. It doesn't matter if you're LeBron, if you're Obama, if you're Drake, whatever you're doing at a high level, people are going to have something negative towards it. And so for you to be in a position to even receive that criticism, and I don't even want to say criticism because it's not constructive, but just like hate or some slander or something like that, just know like, yo, you're doing something right. You're doing something right that they're talking about you, that you're at the topic of conversation. And so that's been the toughest thing for me. And so
I've even heard like in video games, if you're not getting attacked, you're not in the right place.
Come on. That's good. That's good.
Like,
and like I said, it's both, bro. I try to make sure that I stay level-headed. I keep the main thing. I understand like, okay, what's my purpose here? I want to leave an impact and stuff like that. Whether or not I'm ranked in, as a top battler, or whether I'm not, or if I'm getting love and I'm not getting any hate, I try to make sure, like I'm saying to myself, okay, look, this status that I have, this fame, it's here today and gone tomorrow, bro. Like people are dope. Yeah. Like you could be sitting on the mountaintop, bro. But if you live by that, you would die by that, bro. If you live by people's approval, you would die by it. So you cannot wake up every morning trying to think like, okay, do they like my song? Bro, you're going to literally suffer. And I heard this, bro. It's like fame is like perfume. It's cool to have around you, right? Like it's cool. But once you consume that, it is deadly. Wow. And so for me, I try to make sure that I don't consume it. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very tough. There's days and there's nights where I find myself on social media a lot and just, searching up my name or seeing what people have to say about me. But there's times where I have to go ahead and just delete the apps off my phone. Now, granted, I have to stay on it because that's how I market myself. That's my job too. But
part of the game.
I got to make sure that I unplug from the matrix at times. If I don't, I would get lost. I would definitely start feeling myself more than I should. Not saying that you shouldn't have confidence as an artist. You definitely should have confidence. But at the same time, like, peel back and just remember, like, yo, this can easily be gone tomorrow. life is a blessing, you know what I'm saying? And life is tough, bro. Like there's bigger issues than if I won this battle or not. You know what I'm saying? There's real people hurting out there, and that's kind of where I want to like focus my energy at. So,
and at the end of the day, it's your art, bro.
Come
like
on.
you're putting it out there, and it's not for everybody.
Exactly.
You're supposed to have haters,
and it's vulnerable too, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like whenever you do that, it's a vulnerable thing. There's times where, I'll tell two things. One, whenever I put like I write my best rounds when I finish writing my round, and I say to myself, I don't care if nobody likes this. I love this. If you as a writer, and it doesn't matter if you're writing books, if you're a blog, if you're a battle rapper, if you're if you're a music artist, whatever you are, at the end of a writing session, if you could look at your art and you could say, man, you know what? I don't care who rocks with this. This is like, I love this. That's the most freeing art you can make. Two, one of the most humbling experiences. And so I'm a huge artist. I'm talking about like huge. This is a huge artist. I was contacted by the management team, and they were like, hey, he's in Miami, and he wants you to come through for a writing session. I was like, what? I thought it was a joke. I was like, nah, you know, don't worry, we're gonna get you this car rental and stuff like that. Come out here, take everything, we'll pay for your hotel, food and stuff.
Like,
So
don't mess with me.
I was like, all right. I go down there, right? Meet the guy, mad cool and stuff like that, bro. And he was working on a particular project that he was working on, that was leaning towards my skill set. And so I went and I wrote something for him. And dope, you know, that's just how the industry is anyway. So, you know, I knew that, but it was just dope to even be there, make connections and stuff.
Seriously.
Sign an NDA, you know, I can't say anything or whatnot. And it comes out, right? And it comes out, and you're reading all the comments, and people are just like, yo, man, you killed, like telling this person, you killed it. This is amazing. And it was humbling because you see the world loving your work and you don't get any credit for it.
Oh,
and so I had to ask myself, I was like, are you okay with that? Like at the end of the day, and this is what every artist has to ask himself, why are you creating art? Are you creating art because you want to go ahead and make good art, or are you doing it for the instant gratification? Are you doing it for the retweets? Are you doing it for the like, right? For the clout? Like, are you doing it for that? And if you are, that's not gonna last.
Yeah, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, that's not gonna trust me. And you're gonna and because that right there, what ends up happening is that becomes your source of identity. The light that is on you is brighter than the light that's in you. And when the light that's on you is brighter than the light that's in you, trust me, it will dim very, very fast. So I want to make sure that the light that's in me is what's pulling people towards Loso. It's like, yo, I want to see more of this. And so, like I said, when I started watching that particular video, or everybody raving about that artist, and like when I tell you, like, he's a huge artist, and they were just like talking about the lines that he was rapping and stuff, I was just like, that's cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, yo, I can write on that level. I can make good content that the world loves. And even though nobody knows that that's Loso, I'm totally fine with it, man. And so that was a special place to be. So
it's almost like having a child, man. It's like you have this baby, and you shape it, and then you put it out into the world, and it's like nobody knows that's your child when they look at him, you know?
Yeah. Or surrogate. It's like, yo, I took care of it. It's like, you can have it though. Now it's like
no credit.
Yeah, exactly.
Where did you get the name? Is that your actual name?
Yeah, my middle name's Carlos, and so, you know, people just call me Los. I started off as Loso, whatnot. I just turned into Loso as time, and you know, people will call me Loso too. So once I started battling, I was like, all right, let's just go with Loso. So, I wish it meant something deep.
Yeah,
like, people ask me a lot, and I'm like, man, should I break it up into an acronym? I'm like, I don't got time to do that now, bro.
Just lie.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it stands for
exactly, love only. Yeah, whatever. it is.
Let's come up with something. Who was your main inspiration, man? Who inspired you to do what you do?
Yeah, man.
So everybody has like that one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's I guess it's like twofold. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, you know, my mom growing up, you know, single mother. I told you when my father passed away. I mean, we're talking about a woman who had 4 kids and then $200 in her pocket, and she was like, "Hey, I'm moving to Tampa. We're gonna start something new." And so, you know, growing up, I'm watching her work at, you know, KFC and Burger King just to keep the lights on. And then the lights weren't on. And so, but there was a struggle. And so for us, you know, living in Tampa, trying to just make ends meet, I'm seeing that. And, you know, I'm just like, man, you know, I just know she's doing everything she can right now. And then what else, like who else was an inspiration was, I just remember being around, whether it was my neighbors, whether it was people that we end up just meeting, whether it was at church or something like that. Like there were a lot of like selfless people that were helping us out. I just remember like some neighbors across the street, they were just like across the hall from us where we were living in these projects. They were like, hey, we got an extension cord. You could just use our outlets and we'll keep the door cracked. And, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I remember being like 12, 13 years old, seeing that. And so even now growing up, I just remember growing up always saying to myself, man, you know what? Whenever I have things, whatever it is, man, my door is never going to be locked. You know what I'm saying?
It's
you
a
know,
blessing.
it's like, I just can't, like, I just know what it is to not have and then to have and to be able to bless somebody else. I just know what that would do for them. And so try to do that. So those are inspirations as far as just me, as a person. But then, art, man, you know, like right now I'm a big fan of, you know, Kendrick and J. Cole. I think, they are, very transparent and consistent in their music. I love how they kind of like make art and they could just disappear. Yeah, and just let that art do talking. Now, I don't have that luxury, right? Because if I disappear, then nobody wants me to ever come back. It's just like,
Not yet.
Yeah, we didn't even notice. But yeah, you're right. But for them, I think it's so dope that they just do what they want to do. I like when I see J. Cole like playing basketball now, I'm like, yo, he dropped the album and he's like, yo, I want to go try to play professional basketball. Or Kendrick, you know, leaving for 5 years and then making, you know, like another classic album. So those guys I kind of lean towards. And then in battle rap, you know, pretty much all the legends that just came before me, man. Like I never want to be one of those artists that come in and it's just like, yo, I'm it and I'm just better than everybody else and whoever came before me. I'm like, nah, I want to pay homage to everybody. So
You are where you are today because of them.
Exactly.
You know, they paved the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And, you know, I want to make sure that I point that to everybody else. And then, you know, some of my close friends who make art as well, you know, and that's, you know, three guys in particular, you know, Street Hymns, A-Ward, and Saga. These three guys, they also do what I do as well, and they do it at a high level, and they kind of push me. I'm always working with them. And so whenever we kind of get on the phone and kind of bounce ideas off of each other, I'm a better writer because of those guys. So I try to make sure.
Feed off of each other,
Yep.
man. Yeah.
I try to make sure whenever I do an interview, whenever I do something, I always make mention of them because if you're a fan of Loso, and let's say there's some people who are only fans of Loso, like as far as like they don't know those guys, that's fine. I want you to know like you're only getting the best product out of me because those three guys are pushing me. So I try to make sure that people know that.
No, that's good, man. It's good to have a team like
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah, to kind of push you up and do the things that the haters won't.
Exactly.
Because all you're gonna do is. Have you ever had anybody like betray you?
Oh my
Where it's
gosh.
like, yeah.
Where do you want to start, bro? Yeah. I mean, you know, unfortunately, that's another thing too. I
They
just
try
know.
to use you. And
Yeah, it's crazy because, you know, prior to getting some sort of, you know, status, yeah, man, I remember being with some group of guys and some friends and stuff, and it's like, when you're down, I remember vividly, like when I was down in my darkest moments, like people who I thought was the closest to me, they just weren't there. They just weren't.
disappear faster
Yeah,
than
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they would kick me while I was down. And so then when you're up, it's like, hey, we need to work together. We need to do this. I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
you know, you know what? And even if we could benefit off of each other, I just think for myself, I like that.
As a
that
principle,
wouldn't, that
yeah.
wouldn't be true art, bro. It just wouldn't be organic. And unfortunately, you know, that's life though. That's life, man. And I had put this out not too long ago. I was like, man, you know, I remember who was holding my hand, you know, during my darkest times, but I also remember who kicked me when I was down. And it's not on no revengeful type of thing, like, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna get you back. It's just like those are like
Now
memories.
you know.
Yeah, those are memories that don't go away. And so it's a lesson learned, and I want to maneuver in such a way. That's like me making sure that I'm also a loyal friend to other people. But at the same time, I'm just like, you know what? I won't get burned in the same way like I did before. So,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think we're gonna end it there, man. That was a good
yes,
point.
sir, man. Yes, sir.
That was a good point. Where can everybody find your stuff?
Yo, everything Loso on Instagram and Twitter. Actually, it's just simple. So put everything Loso on Instagram and Twitter, or you go to my website, everythingloso.com. Made it simple for y'all.
Nice.
So, yeah. You want to go ahead and check out tour dates, merch, past music, past battles, or upcoming music and battles. You just go to that website, or you just hit me up directly. Like I said, I post everything on Instagram. Twitter is kind of just, my free thoughts, which not always like, you know what I'm saying, the better. So follow that with caution, but everything else you can go ahead and just follow.
You've
so
been
make
warned.
sure, yeah, man. So everything Loso, looking forward to y'all meeting y'all, bro. And so we here, man.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for joining me, and thank you for telling your story. And
Yes, sir.
we got a lot of inspiring stuff out of this.
This is good, bro. This is real good.
This is a good conversation. And for us, it's going to be BlueBox Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. We post highlights from the podcast on there. There's going to be some good ones from this episode.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
already tell.
TikTok as well. I forgot.
Yeah.
This is 2022.
Yeah.
Make sure everything Loso on TikTok as well. It's so crazy. I got more followers on TikTok than I do
Yeah, me too.
on Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, man. So go to TikTok. I'm pretty sure one of these clips, they have to go viral over there.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do it
sure.
for, right? We do it for the clout. Forget everything we just said in here. It was just to draw you in
Screw
emotionally.
the art form.
Nah, we're here, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, and that for the video version of the podcast is going to be available on YouTube. So go to youtube.blueboxdigital.com if you're just listening to it and you want to see our beautiful faces. Support the show. If you want to support the show, we got some sponsors today. The links are down in the description below. We also got the merch store if you want to head over there and get some Blue Box merch. That kind of helps out the show and build out the studio and get bigger, better guests.
Can't get bigger and better than this, my guy.
Yeah, it's gonna
you hit the ceiling on this. I'm joking.
There's a Mount Rushmore of. But yeah, man. That being said, thanks again for joining me.
Yes, sir,
and
man. Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.